The massive alien ship appeared in Earth's sky without warning. Its sleek, silver surface reflected the sun's rays, casting an eerie glow over the cities below. People stopped in their tracks, mouths agape, as they stared at the impossible sight above them. Inside the ship, Ambassador Zix of the Galactic Confederation straightened his tentacles nervously. This was his first solo mission, and he was determined to make a good impression on the primitive species below. After all, how difficult could it be to establish peaceful contact with a race that had barely mastered space travel? Remember, Zix told his crew, these humans are simple beings. We must be patient and kind, like dealing with children. The ship descended slowly, landing in an open field outside New York City. Within minutes, the area was swarming with military vehicles, news helicopters, and curious onlookers held back by hastily erected barriers. As the ship's doors opened with a hiss, Zix stepped out, flanked by his security team. He blinked his 3 eyes, adjusting to Earth's bright sunlight. The alien ambassador raised his upper limbs in what he hoped was a universal gesture of peace. "Greetings, people of Earth," Zix's translator boomed. "We come in peace and wish to establish diplomatic relations with your world." A hush fell over the crowd. Then, to Zix's surprise, a human in a crisp uniform stepped forward confidently. This was General Sarah Martinez, chosen by world leaders to represent humanity in this historic moment. "Welcome to Earth," General Martinez said, her voice steady and strong. "We're honored by your visit and look forward to peaceful discussions." Zix was taken aback. This wasn't the reaction he had expected from a supposedly primitive species. Where was the fear, the awe? These humans seemed almost prepared. As the two leaders began to talk, Zix's security chief, Kroll, noticed something alarming. "Ambassador," he whispered urgently, "the humans have weapons trained on us." Advanced weapons. Zix's antenna twitched in disbelief. How could this be? Their intelligence suggested that humans were centuries away from developing such technology. Meanwhile, General Martinez was growing impatient with the alien's strange behavior. "Is everything all right, Ambassador?" she asked, a hint of steel in her voice. Zix fumbled for words. Yes. We were not expecting your species to be so advanced." Martinez's eyes narrowed. "And why is that, Ambassador? Did you come here expecting to find simple savages?" The tension in the air thickened. Kroll, nervous and trigger-happy, misinterpreted a sudden movement from one of the human soldiers. In a flash, he raised his weapon. "No," Zix shouted, but it was too late. Chaos erupted. Human soldiers raised their guns, alien security forces activated their shields, and the crowd behind the barriers began to panic. General Martinez, however, didn't flinch. Instead, she did something that shocked both humans and aliens alike. She stepped forward, placing herself directly between the two armed groups. "Stand down," she roared, her voice cutting through the pandemonium. "All of you." To Zix's amazement, the human soldiers immediately lowered their weapons. His own security team, seeing this, hesitantly did the same. Martinez turned to Zix, her eyes blazing. "Ambassador, I suggest we continue this discussion in a more private setting. That is if you're still interested in diplomacy." Zix nodded, speechless. As they walked towards a nearby building, he couldn't help but marvel at the human general's actions. It was either incredible bravery or sheer insanity to step into the line of fire like that. Inside, as talks began in earnest, Zix found himself constantly surprised by the humans. Their technology, their knowledge, their confidence, none of it matched the Confederation's intelligence reports. As the day wore on, one thing became clear to Zix. The Galactic Confederation had severely underestimated humanity. These weren't simple beings to be guided and protected. They were a force to be reckoned with. As night fell, Zix sent a message back to his superiors. "First contact established." Humans are not as expected. They are advanced, unpredictable, and possibly dangerous. Advise caution in all future interactions. Little did Zix know, this was just the beginning of humanity's journey to shake up the galactic status quo. 2 weeks after the rocky first contact, the Galactic Confederation's Grand Council chamber buzzed with activity. Alien representatives from 100 worlds argued loudly about what to do with the surprising humans. Ambassador Zix stood nervously before the council, his tentacles twisting together. "Esteemed members," he began, "the humans are unlike any species we've encountered. They're unpredictable, advanced, and—" he paused, searching for the right word, "fascinating." The head counselor, a tall, crystalline being named Sora, leaned forward. "Ambassador, your reports are troubling. You say these humans are both primitive and advanced, peaceful yet dangerous. We need clarity." Zix nodded. "Yes, it's confusing. One moment they're talking about peace, the next they're showing off weapons that shouldn't exist. They're full of contradictions." Murmurs rippled through the chamber. A reptilian counselor named Shkar hissed, "We should quarantine their planet. They're too risky." "No," Zix surprised himself with his outburst. "I mean, perhaps we should test them instead. See what they're truly capable of." Sora's crystal body shimmered thoughtfully. "A test, you say? Intriguing. What do you propose?" Back on Earth, General Sarah Martinez stood before the United Nations, explaining the Galactic Confederation's challenge. "They want us to send a team to compete in a series of trials," she said, her voice echoing in the silent chamber. "We'll be up against other alien species. It's a test to prove our worth." The UN Secretary-General frowned. "And if we refuse?" Martinez's face hardened. "Then we'll be considered too primitive for galactic society. We'll be isolated, cut off from the stars." Debate raged for hours. Some nations wanted nothing to do with alien trials. Others saw it as humanity's big chance. In the end, they agreed to accept the challenge. "But who do we send?" someone asked. All eyes turned to Martinez. She shook her head. "Not me. I'm needed here, but I know someone perfect for this job." Thousands of miles away, Major Alice Chen was dangling from a cliff face, training her elite squad of soldiers. Her comm unit buzzed. She answered it with one hand still hanging effortlessly. "Chen here," she said, not even out of breath. "Major," Martinez's voice came through. "How'd you like to save humanity and explore the galaxy?" Chen grinned. "Sounds like a Tuesday. I'm in." Over the next month, Chen and her team trained harder than ever. They studied alien biology, practiced with advanced tech, and prepared for the unknown. The day of departure arrived. A massive crowd gathered to see off Earth's champions. Chen and her 5 team members stood before the alien ship that would take them to the trials. Chen turned to address the crowd. "We go to face challenges we can't imagine, against beings we've never seen. But we go with the spirit of humanity behind us. We'll show the galaxy what Earth is made of." The crowd roared. Chen's team boarded the ship, their faces a mix of excitement and determination. As the ship rose into the sky, Chen looked out at the shrinking Earth. She thought about the responsibility on her shoulders. The fate of humanity's future in space rested on how well they performed in these trials. "No pressure," she muttered to herself. Beside her, Sergeant Lee, her second-in-command, chuckled. "Feeling nervous, Major?" Chen shook her head, a glint in her eye. "Nah, just thinking about how we're going to surprise these aliens. They think they're testing us. Well, we're going to test them right back." As Earth disappeared from view and the vastness of space surrounded them, Chen felt a thrill of excitement. Whatever these trials were, whatever challenges they faced, she knew one thing for certain. It was going to be one hell of an adventure. The alien ship accelerated, carrying humanity's best and brightest into the unknown. The galactic trials were about to begin. and the universe would never be the same. The alien ship carrying Major Chen and her team arrived at a massive space station. It looked like a giant metal spider, with long arms stretching out into space. Chen whistled softly. "Now that's a sight," she murmured. As they docked, an alien voice boomed through the ship. "Welcome, competitors, to the Galactic Trials. Prepare for your first challenge." Chen's team gathered their gear and stepped out. The docking bay was filled with strange creatures from across the galaxy. Some had multiple arms, others glowed, and a few didn't seem to have any solid form at all. A tall, blue alien approached them. "I am Zorn, your guide," it said. "The first trial begins now. Follow me." They were led to a massive door. Zorn explained, "Behind this is a maze. It changes constantly. Your goal is to reach the center. Be warned, the maze is full of dangers. Many have died attempting this challenge." Chen grinned at her team. "Sounds fun, right?" The door opened, and they stepped into chaos. The maze walls shifted and moved. Strange creatures lurked in shadows. Traps sprung from nowhere. Other alien teams rushed ahead, using advanced tech or natural abilities. One group flew over the walls. Another teleported short distances. "Well, we can't do any of that," Sergeant Lee said, looking worried. Chen nodded. "Nope. So we do this the human way. Together and smart." She pulled out a can of spray paint. "We mark our path. We watch each other's backs. And we never give up." They moved carefully, marking turns and avoiding traps. When a wall suddenly appeared, splitting the team, Chen kept everyone calm. "Lee, take your group left. We'll go right. Keep marking the path. We'll find each other." Hours passed. Other teams fell to traps or got hopelessly lost. But Chen's team pressed on, reuniting and supporting each other. Finally, they saw the center. But a deep pit separated them from their goal. Other aliens were using tech or abilities to cross. "Ideas?" Chen asked her team. Private Rodriguez stepped up. "I was a gymnast before joining the army. If we make a human chain, I can swing across and secure a rope." Chen nodded. "Risky, but it's all we've got. Let's do it." They formed a chain, anchored by their strongest member. Rodriguez swung out over the pit. For a heart-stopping moment, it looked like he wouldn't make it. Then his hand caught the edge. "Yes." The team cheered. Rodriguez secured the rope, and one by one, they crossed. As they reached the center, alarms blared. Zorn's voice announced, "The human team has completed the trial." They were teleported back to the start. Alien spectators buzzed with excitement. Zorn approached, looking amazed. "Incredible," he said. "You used no advanced tech, no special abilities. How did you succeed?" Chen smiled tiredly. "Teamwork, quick thinking, and a lot of stubbornness." Zorn shook his head. "Fascinating. You are the first team in centuries to complete the maze without technological or biological advantages." As they were led to their quarters to rest, Chen heard aliens whispering. Some sounded impressed, others concerned. "Did you see how they work together? They're more resourceful than we thought. Perhaps we underestimated these humans." In their room, the team collapsed, exhausted but proud. "Great job, everyone," Chen said. "But remember, this was just the first trial. It's going to get harder from here." Sergeant Lee nodded. "Whatever comes next, we face it together." As they rested, Chen thought about Earth, so far away. She hoped they were making their planet proud. Whatever the next trial brought, she knew her team would face it with courage, creativity, and that unique human spirit. Outside their room, the space station buzzed with excitement. The human team had surprised everyone. Aliens debated whether it was luck or skill. But one thing was clear: these humans were not to be underestimated. The galactic trials had only just begun, and already, humanity was making waves across the stars. The next morning, Chen and her team were awakened by a loud alarm. Zorn's voice echoed through their quarters. Prepare for the second trial. Report to the central chamber immediately. As they entered the vast, circular room, Chen noticed the somber atmosphere. Alien teams huddled together, whispering nervously. Something big was coming. Zorn appeared on a large screen, his blue face serious. Competitors, the second trial tests not your strength or speed, but your moral fiber. Before each team is a sealed container. Chen looked down. Sure enough, a metal box sat at their feet. Zorn continued. Inside each box is a device. When activated, it will save millions of lives on a distant planet facing a natural disaster. However, to activate it, one team member must sacrifice themselves. A shocked murmur ran through the crowd. Chen felt her stomach drop. You have 1 hour to decide. Zorn finished. Choose wisely. As soon as Zorn's image disappeared, heated debates broke out among the alien teams. Some argued logically about who was most expendable. Others refused to sacrifice anyone. Chen led her team to a quiet corner. Their faces were pale but determined. Okay, let's think this through, Chen said calmly, though her heart was racing. We knew the trials would be tough. But this is something else. Sergeant Lee spoke up. Major, it should be me. I'm second in command. It makes tactical sense. Private Rodriguez shook his head. No, I'm the youngest. I should go. Soon, they were all volunteering, each giving reasons why they should be the one. Chen listened, feeling a mix of pride and sadness. This was humanity at its best. Selfless, brave, willing to sacrifice for others. But she couldn't let them do it. Thank you, all of you, she said softly. But it has to be me. Her team protested immediately. But Chen held up her hand. Listen, I'm the leader. It's my responsibility. And tactically, it makes sense. You all have skills we'll need for the remaining trials. But Major Lee argued, we need your leadership. Chen smiled. You don't need me. You're all incredible soldiers and amazing human beings. You can do this without me. As the team argued and pleaded, Chen noticed the alien teams watching them curiously. Their behavior seemed to baffle the other competitors. With 10 minutes left, Chen made her final decision. It's done. I'm going. That's an order. Her tone left no room for argument. She knelt by the box, ready to open it. Her team stood around her, tears in their eyes but standing tall. It's been an honor serving with you, Chen said. Now go out there and show the galaxy what humanity is made of. Just as Chen was about to open the box, Zorn's voice boomed again. Stop. The trial is over. Everyone froze. Zorn appeared on the screen, looking astonished. In all our years running this trial, we've never seen anything like this, Zorn said. Other species argue, calculate, sometimes refuse to choose. But never have we seen an entire team volunteer and a leader insist on sacrificing themselves. The room was silent, all eyes on the human team. Zorn continued. There is no device. There is no planet in danger. This trial tests your species' values, your willingness to put others before yourselves. And you, humans, have passed in a way we never imagined possible. Chen stood slowly, her legs shaky. Her team surrounded her, hugging her tightly. As they left the chamber, alien competitors approached them, asking questions, looking at them with new respect and curiosity. Why were you all willing to sacrifice yourselves? One alien asked. Chen smiled tiredly. Because that's what humans do. We protect each other. We stand up for what's right, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. As they walked back to their quarters, Chen felt a mix of relief and pride. They had passed the trial, but more importantly, they had shown the true heart of humanity to the galaxy. The aliens had tried to test their morality. Instead, humanity had taught them a lesson about sacrifice, courage, and the strength of the human spirit. 2 trials down, 1 to go. and the galaxy was watching with bated breath to see what these surprising humans would do next. The final trial arrived sooner than expected. Chen and her team were escorted to a massive holographic chamber. Alien spectators filled floating platforms above, eager to watch the last challenge. Zorn appeared, his blue skin shimmering. Competitors, welcome to the final trial. This is a war game simulation. Each team will defend a base while trying to capture their opponent's flags. You'll face extreme environments and use various weapons. The last team standing wins. Chen surveyed her team. They looked tired but determined. All right, folks, this is it. Everything we've trained for. Let's show them what Earth can do. The simulation started with a flash. Chen's team found themselves in a harsh desert landscape. Their base was a small fortress on a hill. In the distance, they could see other alien bases, each in different terrains. Okay, team. Rodriguez and Wong, you're on defense. Lee, you're with me on offense. Johnson, you're our eyes in the sky. Use that drone we brought and keep us informed, Chen ordered. As they prepared, Chen noticed something odd. The other teams had much better weapons and armor. Some even had giant mechs or energy shields. Well, that hardly seems fair, Sergeant Lee grumbled. Chen grinned. Then we'll just have to be smarter. Come on, we're humans. When have we ever played fair? The battle began. Alien teams clashed with amazing powers and advanced tech. Energy beams lit up the sky. Mechs stomped across the landscape. Chen's team, however, stayed quiet. They watched. They planned. Johnson, what do you see? Chen asked through her comm. Major, the blue team to our east is leaving their base exposed, and the green team to the north. Their weapons overheat every 3 minutes. Chen nodded. Perfect. Lee, we're going for the blue flag. Rodriguez, Wong, when I give the signal, make a lot of noise. Draw attention to our base. They moved out, using the chaos of the battle as cover. While giant aliens clashed and energy weapons flared, 2 humans snuck through the desert, unseen. They reached the blue team's base. It was guarded by a massive force field. Any ideas? Lee whispered. Chen pointed to a small generator. That's powering the shield. Bet you it can't handle a sudden power surge. They rigged up their emergency battery to the generator. With a flash and a fizzle, the force field dropped. Now, Chen yelled into her comm. Back at their base, Rodriguez and Wong set off flares and sound grenades. The noise drew everyone's attention. In the confusion, Chen and Lee slipped into the blue base and snatched their flag. Johnson, we need an extraction, Chen called. On it, Major. There's a sandstorm coming from the west. It'll provide cover. I'm sending coordinates now. They ran, using the sandstorm as cover. Alien teams, confused by the noise from the human base and unable to see through the storm, stumbled around blindly. Chen and Lee made it back to their base, blue flag in hand. 1 down, 2 to go. Chen grinned. They used similar tactics for the other flags. A fake distress call lured the green team away from their base. A cleverly rigged rock slide cut off the red team's defenses. Before the alien teams knew what hit them, the humans had captured all the flags. The simulation ended abruptly. The desert faded away, leaving them standing in the holographic chamber. The alien spectators were buzzing with excitement. Zorn approached, looking stunned. Incredible. You were outgunned, outnumbered, and facing superior technology. How did you manage this? Chen smiled tiredly. We used our brains, worked as a team, and never, ever gave up. That's the human way. The chamber erupted in cheers. Alien competitors came to congratulate them, asking questions, clearly impressed. As they were led out, Chen heard the aliens talking. Such unusual tactics. They turned our own advantages against us. These humans, there's something special. Chen looked at her team, battered but proud. They had done it. They had shown the galaxy what humanity could do. Little did they know, their victory was about to change the course of galactic history. The Grand Council chamber of the Galactic Confederation buzzed with excitement. Representatives from hundreds of alien species had gathered to discuss the outcome of the trials. At the center of attention stood Major Chen and her team, looking tired but proud. Fedora, the crystalline head counselor, called for order. We are here to discuss the performance of the humans in the galactic trials. Never in our history have we seen such unusual methods. Ambassador Zix stepped forward, his tentacles waving excitedly. Esteemed Council, I told you the humans were special. They have surpassed our wildest expectations. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber, but not everyone was convinced. Scar, the reptilian counselor, hissed, but look at the destruction they caused. Their tactics were reckless and dangerous. Are these really the kind of beings we want in our galactic community? Chen felt her team tense beside her. She stepped forward, her voice clear and strong. Counselors, if I may speak. Fedora nodded, curiosity glinting in her crystal form. Yes, our methods were unconventional, Chen began. But we faced challenges designed for beings far more advanced than us. We had to adapt, to think creatively. That's what humans do best. She paused, looking around the room. We don't have the technology many of you do. We can't fly or teleport or shoot lasers from our eyes. But we have something else. Determination, creativity, and an unbreakable spirit. The chamber was silent, all eyes on Chen. You called these trials a test of our worth, she continued. Well, I say we've proven our worth. Not because we're the strongest or the smartest, but because we never give up. We face impossible odds and find a way to succeed. Chen's words seemed to resonate with many of the aliens. They nodded and murmured in agreement. But Scar wasn't done. Pretty words, human. But actions speak louder. Your creativity could be a threat to galactic peace. Surprisingly, it was Zorn, the trial overseer, who spoke up next. I disagree, Counselor. I watched the humans closely during the trials. Yes, their methods were unusual, but they showed great moral fiber. Zorn turned to the Council. In the second trial, every member of their team volunteered to sacrifice themselves to save others. Their leader insisted on being the one to do it. That level of selflessness is rare in the galaxy. This revelation caused a stir among the counselors. Even Scar looked thoughtful. Thora raised her crystalline hands for silence. We have much to consider. Humans have shown great potential, but also unpredictability. We will need time to deliberate. As the council prepared to dismiss, a commotion broke out at the back of the chamber. A small green alien pushed its way to the front, looking panicked. Counselors, it squeaked. We've just received a distress signal from the Nebulon system. A massive asteroid is on a collision course with their home planet. Millions will die if it's not stopped. The chamber erupted in chaos. Sora tried to restore order, but panic was spreading. Our nearest ships are days away. The Nebulons don't have the technology to stop it. It's hopeless. Amidst the panic, Shen stepped forward again. We'll go, she said firmly. The room fell silent once more. What? Sora asked, surprised. My team. We'll go to Nebulon. We might not have the most advanced ships, but we're closer and we're willing to try. Scar scoffed. And what can 5 humans do against a planet-killing asteroid? Chen smiled confidently. I don't know yet, but we'll figure it out. That's what humans do. The council looked at each other, uncertainty clear on their alien faces. Sora finally spoke. Very well, Major Chen. We'll provide you with a ship. The fate of the Nebulons is in your hands. As Chen and her team were rushed to prepare for their mission, the council chamber buzzed with new energy. Some aliens looked worried, others excited. One thing was clear. The galaxy was about to learn even more about what humans were capable of. Whether that was a good thing or not remained to be seen. The sleek alien ship carrying Major Chen and her team hurtled through space towards the Nebulon system. Inside, the humans worked frantically, studying data about the approaching asteroid and the planet it threatened. "It's huge," Sergeant Lee said, looking at the holographic display. "How are we supposed to stop something that big?" Chen's eyes narrowed in concentration. "We've faced impossible odds before. We'll find a way." As they neared Nebulon, they saw the asteroid. It was massive, a city-sized rock hurtling towards the blue-green planet below. "Any ideas, team?" Chen asked. Private Rodriguez spoke up. "Major, remember that movie night we had? There was this old film about cowboys lassoing cattle." Chen's eyes lit up. "Rodriguez, you're a genius. We're going to lasso an asteroid." The team looked at her like she was crazy, but they'd learned to trust Chen's wild ideas. They quickly got to work, repurposing the ship's tractor beam into a makeshift space lasso. It was a crazy plan, but it was the only one they had. As they approached the asteroid, Chen took manual control of the ship. "Hold on tight, everyone. This is going to get bumpy." She maneuvered the ship around the massive rock, deploying their makeshift lasso. The energy beam wrapped around the asteroid, and Chen gummed the engines. The ship groaned under the strain. Warning alarms blared as they pushed the engines to their limits. "It's not enough." Lee shouted over the noise. "We can't change its course." Chen gritted her teeth. "We need more power. Rodriguez, Wong, reroute all non-essential systems to the engines. Johnson, find me a slingshot route around that moon." The team worked in perfect sync, each trusting the others to do their part. Slowly, agonizingly, the asteroid began to shift its course. But it wasn't enough. They were slowing it down, but it would still hit the planet. "We need a new plan," Chen muttered. Then she saw it, a smaller asteroid nearby. "Lee, calculate the impact if we smash that smaller rock into this one." Lee's fingers flew over the controls. It could work, but, "Major, we'd have to be on the smaller asteroid to steer it accurately." Chen nodded grimly. "Then that's what we'll do. I'll take a spacesuit and—" "No," Lee interrupted. "We'll all go. We started this mission together. We'll finish it together." Chen looked at her team, saw the determination in their eyes, and nodded. They positioned their ship near the smaller asteroid and spacewalked across. Using their suit's thrusters, they spread out across the rock's surface. "On my mark," Chen said through the comm. "Fire your thrusters at full power. We're going to ride this rock like a rodeo bull." The team fired their thrusters in unison. The small asteroid slowly began to move, aimed directly at the larger threat. As they picked up speed, Chen realized the flaw in their plan. "We're not going to be able to get clear in time," she said softly. The team fell silent, each coming to terms with their fate. Then, miraculously, a tractor beam locked onto them. A Nebulon ship had arrived just in time. "Looks like you could use a lift, humans," a voice crackled over their comms. As the Nebulon ship pulled them to safety, they watched their asteroid smash into the larger one. The impact shattered both rocks, sending the debris harmlessly off course. Cheers erupted over the comm system. They had done it. They had saved an entire planet. Back on the Galactic Confederation space station, the Council was in an uproar. The humans had succeeded where no one thought possible. Ambassador Zix bounced excitedly. "You see, didn't I tell you humans were special?" Even Shkar looked impressed. Perhaps we judged them too hastily." Sora stepped forward as Chen and her team entered the chamber. "Major Chen, you and your team have done the impossible. You've saved millions of lives and proven beyond doubt the worth of humanity." Chen smiled tiredly. "We just did what humans do best. We saw a problem, and we fixed it." Zora's crystal form shimmered with what might have been laughter. "Indeed, and it seems the galaxy could use more of that spirit. Humanity is hereby welcomed into the Galactic Confederation, not as junior members, but as full partners." The chamber erupted in cheers. As alien representatives crowded around to congratulate them, Chen looked at her team with pride. They had come to prove humanity's worth, and in doing so, they had changed the course of galactic history. The age of humanity among the stars had begun, and the universe would never be the same.